Welcome in. Today, we are peering into the future of what sort of tech 2022 could have in store. Mainly just what I want to see. I have here with me today an actual crystal ball to give us a little peek. This is technically tech, right? I mean, this is how they saw the future in the past. Okay, dedicated bank rule management apps. Let me explain. Bank rules are kind of the key to automating your bookkeeping. Xero and QBO manage them a little differently right now, but we've yet to have apps that manage these rules for us. Now, the rules aren't currently accessible via either Xero or QBO's API, but with RPA now, that hasn't been stopping third parties from building software around it. So in order for an app to manage your bank rules for you right now, it would require a bot going into the program on their end. That's fine. What I want is a standalone SaaS app for managing bank rules across all of my clients. Bonus points if you make it accounting software agnostic. Think about what this opens up. A way to audit those bank rules, a way to standardize those bank rules, a way to pull in rule sets from the community. Now, prerequisite there obviously is that chart of accounts are standardized, but when your bank rules are the biggest factor in how quickly you can automate your bookkeeping, man, it seems like a tool that can help you with this ought to exist, right? All-in-one client portals with tax integrations. Intuit's the only one that's kind of sort of got this. We're getting to a place where there are better portals for our clients to manage files, do communications with you if you want, share tasks, but nothing yet that really pulls the tax part of the picture in. Got ProConnect and that sort of thing. You got Tax Caddy, a few of those things that are built around tax specifically, but nothing that's nicely handling both. Because you got a bunch of legacy tax systems whose data won't talk with SaaS apps, and then you've got Intuit building their own thing in a vacuum. The trouble right now is if you push either one of these things on your client, like Tax Caddy, that's only going to handle tax stuff. What about all the other things you do for a client? Are they then logging into a different portal? Same thing with ProConnect. What about the accounting I do or other things that I do for that client? I want all that stuff in a unified portal. Easier said than done, and data integrations is probably the biggest limitations there. But man, does our profession need that right now, a great unified tool. How about a cloud-based tax offering? Give me a SaaS app that'll prepare tax returns. Simple as that, right? Not quite. I know Intuit's trying to do this with ProConnect, and that'll work well as long as you keep within the Intuit ecosystem. But give us an off-the-shelf SaaS app that will handle tax prep. I know Canopy was trying to do it. Anybody that does it, this is a massive, massive project. But here's the thing, until somebody does that, where's the motivation for any of the incumbent tax tools to start offering access to their data via an API or to innovate on any aspect of their product? It's gonna take new entrants to that market. And an integrations-first SaaS company getting into tax prep in the US would disrupt a lot of stuff. Neobanking becomes more in vogue. So right now, pretty much everybody can agree that virtually all aspects of the online banking experience is better with a neobank, but they aren't quite ready to give up relationship banking and the notion that maybe they need that relationship to come through for them someday when they need financing. Now, in your day-to-day, I don't know that most of my clients lean on that relationship banking much. We've also got a couple niches that don't rely on financing at all, but the notion of giving up relationship banking, that becoming kind of a nameless partnership, that's scary for people still. I think the solution is actually not giving up relationship banking in lieu of a neobank, but rather combining the best of the two, leaving the door open to both and utilizing both of them in your business. But we're still kind of overcoming the notion of getting away from relationship banking. The idea that your money could be managed by something that couldn't be tied back to a person. But man, probably 2/3 of the small business owners I work with are working with mega banks, where the customer service is just going to be horrendous. So I'd be surprised if people didn't start becoming more comfortable with those neobanks. How about an API from one of the incumbent tax software providers? Now, each of these tax software providers, your ProFX, UltraTax, all these tools have an SDK that enables select third-party companies to integrate with their tool. We've all seen it. They've got these built-in integrations with a very select few number of tools, but that is not the same as publicly making that sort of thing available. And the reason? They've got the whole suite. They don't want you just buying the tax software. They want you buying everything. And the reason there isn't pressure on them to open up that integration ecosystem, simply lack of competition. So it's probably going to take a SaaS tax software company coming in, putting some pressure on them to begin opening up that ecosystem. But man, as soon as you can get an API for like an UltraTax, a publicly available SDK, something like that, then like that customer portal we talked about, that becomes feasible. The idea of pulling pro forma info into a process of your own design for your clients to log in, get you all those documents. As soon as that data is accessible, man, so many of those things become possible. Right now, it's just a lack of incentive. More RPA thought leaders for small firms. firms. So I'm a big believer in robotic process automation. It's the tech behind all of the doom and gloom stories you read about accounting, and it's good stuff. It's really powerful tech, but it's what makes it all the more important that we are the ones to ensure RPA success for our profession, not developers. Now you see conversations about this at Big Four, kind of abstract stuff in accounting conferences, but very few people like picking up the reins and saying, hey, here's how to do it. Here's what to implement to your firm today. I've done a bit of that, but man, we need like 100 more people doing that because there's big time opportunities in RPA. All those integration issues we just talked about with our software, this is another way to force their hand. If we build our own integrations, and we start taking their data elsewhere, integrating it with the apps we choose, great way to put more pressure on them to start doing that themselves. More quick switchers. What? So, quick switchers. Where have you seen them before? Slack, they're popping up more and more in apps. It is a fundamentally better way to navigate programs. Rather than the nav bar panel on the side, that sort of thing, you never have to leave the keyboard. You hit a little keyboard shortcut, and you just start typing what you want. Then it's going to contextually give you all the options after that you may be trying to search for, and that is how you navigate. Quick switchers make sense in just about every program you use, but let's use QuickBooks, for example. Man, have accounting ledgers historically had really, really bad search functions. A quick switcher, on the other hand, Control K or something like that, type in run payroll, type in profit and loss, infinitely better than the traditional navigation approach. Let's start open sourcing some bank rules. So coming back to bookkeeping automation, bank rules don't need to be proprietary, for goodness sakes. The delta from where we are right now to being able to automate like 90% of bookkeeping comes down to two things: standardized chart of accounts, standardized bank rules. The fact that every time you start an accounting file today, you're rolling your own set of bank rules from scratch, that's just wild. Why is that not a thing we can pull in off the shelf? Why is that not a thing that the ledger apps will let you pick from a library? To get a little tinfoil hat, why is that not a thing either of the major accounting ledger tools are opening up via their API? If you have a standardized set of 10,000 bank rules, a standardized set of chart of accounts that's going to work for 80% of new small businesses, and that fundamentally changes how bookkeeping gets done when you're just getting started. No code roles inside of firms. So we've seen this at enterprise. There's actually a ton of really big companies hiring for no code specific roles. You got these people that are kind of the ultimate operators, bridging data across different parts of the company, because no code is the key to data management. And my gosh, inside an accounting firm, there's so much data management that happens. Virtually everything that we do is a data problem, getting something from A to B and applying some sort of logic in the middle. Situation that's ripe for no code expertise. Now, long term, I think everybody's going to need to have some degree of no code expertise. It's like your typing speed or familiarity with the Microsoft Office suite. But who's going to champion that? I think that's where today no code's getting so compelling that it makes sense to make that higher. Even if it's not full time, even if it's just pulling a contract person in part time, I think we're going to see more and more of that. Last, new firm accelerators. Groups that are enabling people who are going out and starting their firm for the first time, making that process as simple as possible. Two examples: Dark Horse CPAs and High Rock Nucleus. So if you're on that edge, if you're thinking about starting your own thing, what's the thing that you need to put you over the top? There's a lot of people a step short of that are afraid to do it themselves. That's where these accelerators come in. They're going to surround you with the people and tools to make that process more simple. Because what our profession needs right now is individuality. People unplugging from the machine to put their own spin on our profession. We've got enough mindless drones logging hours away. Those firms, in my opinion, aren't helping the small to mid-sized businesses doing really amazing things today. The firms who are the experts, the ones running the small firms that are hyper specialized. So our world needs more small firms. We need more of those people who have the courage to take the first step and start their own firm and bring their own brand to the accounting profession. Now, not everybody's going to need an accelerator, but I'm going to get behind anything that drives accounting entrepreneurship. So there we go. That's our 2022 crystal ball. Anything you want to see in 22? We'll recap this at the end of the year. I think it'll be interesting. Some of the old tropes of give us a tax API. It'll be interesting to see if we actually get any closer to that this year. If you like this, check out the 2 videos I did on the best tech we got in 21 and the tech that I picked up.